Hello everyone. Thank you for stopping by today. If this is your first time here, my name is Unwana. Every week I share content to help you master your personal finance and grow your wealth. So if this is your first time here, thank you for being here. Welcome. So today's topic is basically is money important in your marriage? All right. So does money matter in a marriage? And by the time we're done with this video today, we will answer that question. So one of the greatest statistics that I have seen has to do with divorce. Most divorce happens because of financial pressures, and I have also gone through that. Okay, money affects everything. Money affects your marriage. Money affects your job. Money affects your life. All right. So that's one of the critical issues or things that leads to divorce in most people. And it all stems from financial pressures. So this is what normally happens. You know, you start dating someone, you probably go on a couple dates, and then before you know it, you know, there's that euphoria, and then you decide to get engaged, you get married, and then life hits you. All right. So it's always very important that before you even start the engagement phase, that couples sit down and go over some very tough questions. Okay, questions around their personal finance. Okay, question around how they're going to handle their money. Okay, questions around how they're going to raise their kids. All right, these are things that are missing today in marriages. Okay, so which is why, you know, almost 50% of marriages in the United States, I'm using the statistics from the United States now because that's where I'm based, will end up in divorce because no one sat down. Couples don't sit down and go over their personal finances. Okay, personal finance is a very touchy subject. It's something that's not taught at home, not taught in schools. So most of us have to learn the hard way, all right, when it comes to our personal finances. And most people are in the dark when it comes to managing money. Believe me, I'm guilty of this as well. I have fallen for the traps. So personal finance is the bedrock. It's the foundation for anything you want to achieve in life. Okay, you have to make sure that your personal finance is sound, and that's the only way you can be successful, okay, in handling your you know, personal life and your financial life. So marriage is very essential in certain cultures, in certain places. Okay, marriage provides stability for couples, for families, for kids. So a little disclaimer, I am not a marriage counselor, I am not a financial advisor, I am not a tax professional. I'm just a regular guy on YouTube sharing content that can help you master your personal finance and grow your wealth. So anything I share on my channel is based off of personal experience. All right, a couple years ago I went through a divorce, and the reason why I keep bringing this up, even though we shouldn't keep dwelling on the past, but this creates an example for you, so that way you don't make the same mistakes. All right, so normally what normally happens is when people get together and they get married, and like I said earlier, if you don't sit down and hash things out on how you're going to handle your personal finance, on how you're going to handle your bank accounts, on how you're going to handle raising your kids, okay, once you're married, it is difficult then to decide things. Then you end up with conflicts. Okay, you have one person going this way, you have the other person going this way. There is no unity, there is no succinctness, okay, between both people. Don't forget, when you get married, you're taking an individual that has their own personality, their own background, their own family upbringing, and then you're taking a second person that has probably completely different family structure, and then you're coming together as one unit. If you don't hash things out before you get married, most likely you will end up divorced. And one of the things, like I said earlier, that leads to divorce, not infidelity, not anything else, it's finances. All right, so you have to make sure that while you're dating, for all my younger subscribers, if you're still single, make sure if you're committed to someone, you sit down and decide on what you're going to do with your finances. Are you going to have a joint account to pay for all your housing expenses? Are you going to have separate accounts to manage things? So these are things that you need to discuss before you tie the knot, before you get married. All right, you will save yourself a whole bunch of trouble. Number two, most people have different aspirations. Make sure you talk to your significant other. Okay, if you're the entrepreneurial type, all right, when you're starting a business, it takes a lot of commitment, it takes a lot of pressure, there's a lot of strain on your relationship. You want to make sure you have the right partner, because when it comes to starting a business or running a business, believe me, you have to be dedicated, you have to commit yourself to it. And sometimes what ends up happening is your family life suffers. All right, like I said, I am not a marriage counselor. I am just a regular guy on YouTube sharing my personal experiences with you all. Okay, so you want to make sure that you hash out all your financial decisions and have everything mapped out, so when you finally get married and you're together, all right, you're able to continue with your lives. Okay, so you want to make sure that get things straightened out before you get married, because the last thing you want to do is to get married, bring kids into the mix, and then you end up getting divorced. Divorce is a very expensive proposition. All right, it takes a toll on your emotions, it takes a toll on your finances, because now if you're divorced, you have to worry about child support, you have to worry about all sorts of things. You now have split families. I mean, there's a lot of pressure. All right, no one gets into a marriage and wants to be divorced a few years after. All right, but it all comes down to making sure that you're both on the same page when it comes to how you're going to raise the kids, when it comes to your finances. In this example, I'm just concentrating on the financial piece, because that's what my channel is all about. It's all about personal finance and wealth creation. All right, so my advice to you, if you're still single, if you're young, or even if you're married right now and you're having trouble, it all comes down to your personal finance. Okay, because when I'm not saying money is everything, I'm not saying personal finance is everything, but believe me, if you had all the money in the world and your finances were in order and you were both on the same page, then anything else that happens is just you can always take care of that. But when you don't have money, when you're struggling to pay your bills, when you're struggling to to buy clothing for your kids, when you're struggling to just survive, then any little thing that happens gets escalated, okay, gets blown out of proportion, just because the finances aren't there. You're struggling every day, okay, to make ends meet, and then that just increases the stress and the strain on the family. All right, so you want to make sure that you hash things out. Okay, you decide on your personal finance, and then when you get married, there are no surprises, so everybody's on the same page. All right, and that's what happens to most people today. And then add to that we have all the pressures in our society, where we all have to meet a certain level, or people expect certain things from you, or so we think. Okay, so for instance, you go to school, you get a degree, now you meet someone, you get engaged, everybody's waiting for the wedding, now you go into debt just to have a wedding, and then once you're married, the next stage would be for you to buy a house. Now you buy a house, so now you have your students' loan debt to pay back, you have loans from your wedding, now you have a mortgage, because everybody expects that you have to have a house. You have no savings, you have no emergency fund, you have no investments. So now you're stuck in the rat race, and you're going through this whole cycle all over again, because we are not financially literate when it comes to handling our money. So If you found value in this video, I don't want to drag it out. I just wanted to, nail this out, because this is something that's really, that's really personal to me as well. Because I did not sit down back 23, 24 years ago and went through all this process so that way my marriage would have lasted longer. Okay, I mean, I am glad my marriage lasted for 23 years. I was married for 23 years, so I am grateful for that. And we have 3 beautiful kids. But some of the mistakes that I made, I'm just sharing that with you, that you don't end up making the same mistakes. Okay, so you want to make sure that before you tie the knot, you want to sit down with your significant other and you go over how you're going to handle your personal finance. Some people suggest you have one bank account which is joint, for household expenses. All right, paying the mortgage, paying the car payments, paying for food, so all your home expenses will run through one account, and then each individual has their own account. So you, as the husband, you have your own personal account. Your spouse, will have her own account, and that way, if she needs to, spend money on a bag or do her hair, do her nails, there are no questions. And you, as a guy, if you want to buy, a new golf club or whatever you want to spend your money on, you don't have that conflict. Because what normally happens is, in some marriages, each person has a separate account, and then each person is responsible for certain bills, and then things get out of control. And when one person spends money on something, the other one gets, angry and upset. You have to be on the same page. Have one account which is joint. You run all your household bills and expenses through that account. Then you both have separate accounts where you can do whatever. Use that as your, fun or your play account to handle your own thing. All right. So make sure, if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, I know this is a very boring topic, but believe me, it creates a lot of emotions. There's a lot of emotional turmoil that goes through, divorce, just because of money, just because of finances. This can be avoided. Most of the divorce that happens today is as a result of, financial stress and financial pressures on the family. So don't be a statistics. Make sure you get everything squared off before you get married, so you don't end up being a statistics. Because I'm one here. I'm now a statistics because I did not spend the time to go through this thing. So I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly evolving, and I want to thank you all for coming on this journey with me, because every day is a new day. All right, so you can't dwell on the past, you can't dwell on things that happened to you in the past, but sometimes you can learn from your past. Okay, you can learn from history, so you don't repeat the same mistake again. All right, so thank you all for being here. Like I said, if you find value in my videos, make sure you leave me a comment. Okay, I know you guys are watching this video, but nobody's leaving comments, so make sure you go ahead and leave comments, and also smash that like button so YouTube can share my videos with others. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Okay, until next time, make sure you check the channel. There are lots of resources on my channel to help you with your finances. And also don't forget to check out my personal finance course. It's called Personal Finance Domination. Link will be in the description below. So thank you very much, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye bye.